Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. So you might have noticed at Worlds that a lot of mages are being played bot lane now, right? This is actually pretty common higher up, and especially if you look at Rekkles' page as well, like his profile, he hasn't really been playing any AD carries for ages. This has been on my radar for a little bit. There are already three reasons, I guess. So Rekkles is just spamming mages, as we said. Heimerdinger is absolutely broken in bot lane right now, as you probably have seen at Worlds, and Syndra has been slamming balls in my face bot lane for weeks. We're going to go over the best mages that you can play if you want to. I definitely think you can abuse this for some pretty easy wins, honestly. Mages tend to be better in the lane phase, but they won't scale quite the same. There are some exceptions to that rule, but basically you win lane and you win game. That's probably the easiest way to play solo queue. I have tried this myself. Some games it works insanely well, others you get camped in it. It feels really bad, but it can be very easily abused in duo lanes, especially to punish more and get really big leads. The biggest downside that I have found personally is that your Baron taking, that your objective and stuff is normally way worse, which can make it harder to push leads. Sometimes it kind of depends on the rest of your team, but it definitely can. So the first one I want to talk about today is probably the strongest one in bot lane, and that is going to be Heimerdinger. So this all started really with some buffs recently, so better stun duration and also more AP use. The thing with Heimer is he's got an absolutely crazy lane phase. You've got really good damage from range with your rockets. You're constantly going to push the wave with your towers, so you get your plates, you get some kills, and it's really, really frustrating to play against and very punishing. If the AD carry walks up just a tiny bit too close, you're going to get grenaded in the face, and if you can hit that, it's insane damage with the reset on the beams and stuff as well. It's very hard to gank a Heimerdinger, so you can't really even help your bot lane out that much. Like, you can do, but you're probably going to get turned around with the tower, especially with the ultimate, and it's very hard to fight him within those towers. The idea with this is that you push, you do pretty well in the lane phase, you plonk your tower down in fights, or you grenade to set them up with your ultimate, and you keep pushing your advantage. So one of the other ones that is really good, before we get into Rekkles, by the way, these are just two that are insanely strong and abusable, I think, for solo queue especially. This next one is going to be Swain. So he's got crazy good base damage with electrocute now, so he will run over bot lanes as the carry, but also as the support, which we have been talking about. The combo is very simple. You use your E, your claw, into your W, you auto attack, and you electrocute proc, which is going to absolutely chunk AD carries out. And if your support has any kind of follow-up, then they're probably going to die. This is really the point about it. If Nautilus, for example, your support lands a hook, you can pull back off of that. You can then claw and combo as well, and the two together is how you get stupidly fed in the lane phase. That is the idea. Like, you smash lane really hard, otherwise you're going to struggle a little bit, but then after that you're very tanky with your new passive. You've got lots of damage and lots of healing. Now we're going to go into some of the ones that Rekkles has been playing. So he played a lot of different things, but the most common one that he's played is Syndra, and this is the one that I see most of the time in solo queue. The idea with Syndra is that you have insane damage. She's kind of an anti-AD carry anyway with a skill button with her ultimate, so you have this burst potential, but you're also very consistent damage, so you can kind of keep up over a fight. You're pretty much going to outrange every AD carry with your Qs, so you can zone, you can poke, and you can look for stuns with the follow-up, and normally that probably is going to net you a kill because mages just do so much damage early. There are some really good lanes that you can have with this. You can have some crowd control to just keep them locked in place, but even lanes like Swain, for example, or other mage lanes are really strong just to burst people out. Normally, you win your lane phase with Syndra. You have a huge mid-game power spike with the one-shots and with the stuns, and that like team fight element, that kind of mid-game where you're around 2 and 3 items is really where you want to push. The other one that I see all the time is Veigar, and this one is very, very different to Syndra. It's a completely different playstyle. So first of all, it's a glacial slow build. It's a really good utility and a damage mix, but it does actually carry the game as well. It just isn't fully focused on damage. When you have your GLP and your Twin Shadows together, it makes it much easier to stun people. You have a very good team fight, much better than normal, and you can really chase people down and set things up, so you aren't completely just about the damage side of things. In the lane phase, it's pretty straightforward because you're also scaling like the enemy AD carry, but your cage is a big difference maker. It completely screws AD carries in the lane phase, and it can trap ready for ganks or your support or any kind of follow-up. This is definitely the best mage to just pick up and play straight away, and after level 6 you can kill people very easily with your stun and your ultimate, and then you run around in team fights slowing everybody and stunning and killing. This next one is a little bit different. Some of these are very damage heavy, some of these are very utility focused, and this one, Morgana, is very much on the other side of things. So it's also the glacial build for more slows and to kind of be more annoying. So again, it's really hard to dodge that bind and set up a lot of plays. The reason this works though, in comparison to like Veigar and stuff, is because carries are almost in every other role. Jungle normally, definitely mid and top lane. So you're having that threat early game, still good damage and everything, but then you're helping everybody else carry more. Your laning is really good. You have good damage. A bind can definitely be a kill. kill, and you can be paired with something more damage heavy as well to actually secure those kills, or you can go with crowd control, but normally it's another mage or some damage. You have really good wave clear bot lane when you max out your W, so you can push pretty easily, contain the enemy AD, try to bind people, set up a few kills, and end up really just black shielding your other laners, sending ghosts out and getting very easy binds. Oriana again is a bit different because it's kind of a mix of Veigar and Morgana together, if that makes sense. We've seen this before a while ago in Korea. Actually, a pro player was doing it a ton in Korean Challenger. So Oriana has pretty good range, right? She's got good constant damage early, and you'll be able to easily harass an enemy AD with your autos and your Q poke. It's one of the pretty good parts about her mid lane anyway. She can really harass people down if they let her. The good part about bot lane is you kind of have like this support to enable you to do that, but you have a really good team fight after lane phase, more utility than AD carry, but you still bring the damage, you still pack a punch as well. So it's a bit similar to Morg, like you can protect your team, but you can also be that threat. With this one, you do want to kind of try and play around your teammates a bit more, so you get your first items easier with the support to help you in lane phase. You can get a few kills, you can poke and harass and stuff, but then you have this amazing team fight when you're grouped, and that is really the idea. One of the more weird ones that I saw Rekkles doing was Ekko. So he is insanely strong at the moment, so it sort of makes sense, and I think this is really about his power level rather than him being really good bot lane. He doesn't have the range advantage. It's not the traditional kind of mage bully, but you can be more aggressive and actually like go for these full-on fights and not poke because you have the stuns and you have the chase potential. So Ekko in general prays on AD carries after one item, right? Like I've been one shot by too many recently. That's literally his job, and it just puts you in the same lane as them. So in theory, it happens a bit more. It does definitely help having a support there as well. Like they have that crowd control. Imagine a Nautilus or something like that, like locking somebody down, and you can dive in afterwards and chain that crowd control together. And honestly, with your electrocute, you're probably going to kill someone. This one is a bit different. You're not really trying to match AD in terms of anything, like in damage or anything. The idea is that they won't have an AD carry in team fights because you're going to have killed them, right? But this really isn't as easy to play as the other ones. Now, another one that Rekkles has been playing that is way more standard and way more we're used to, I guess, is Karma. So she has really good damage early game, and combined with another support, it can be way too much for any kind of AD carry to absorb in lane phase. Just like normal Karma, you're going to be pushing really hard and then just like slowly chipping away at the enemy's health bar. You're building a lead that way, more through like denying the enemy AD rather than just flat out killing them. He runs Glacial as well with GLP and Twin Shadows, again, to give more utility in team fights, so you're going to be able to set plays up a bit more. It's crazy good with the team-wide speed boost as well if you manage to slow someone. The only thing that's kind of interesting is that Rekkles almost always gets a Dark Seal at 3 minutes, and this is pretty much because Karma is just ultra safe. It's really hard to kill her, so she gets those free stacks and then gets some Magi's later. This one is really good if you play Duo Q, by the way, especially with some crowd control or damage bot lane. Like, Pyke is amazing. You can roll over your lane, get that Pyke really fed, push, deny the enemy AD carry, kill them, and then buff your entire team to help them carry. A lot of these are Glacial builds, honestly, and we have another one. So NiKo, it's a similar build, though, to what we have seen NiKo run before with Glacial. It's purely so you can set up the rest of your combo super easy. The big part about this now is that NiKo's updated E from a little while ago, where it empowers if it hits at least one enemy. Now, that duration is almost 2 seconds, even just rank 1 from the very start of the game. When you hit that, you do a lot of damage, but it allows your support to easily follow up bot lane, and that's the big difference. That range is more than enough if the AD carrier wants to farm, they can get hit by that E. This one is actually pretty standard because it's just a build we use in other lanes, to be honest. You grow that lead early game from a few kills. Definitely, by the way, it's definitely a kill lane with that root. And then you slow people to set up more roots in team fights into a massive ultimate. There are a couple more, but Rekkles has only really used these for like a couple of games. So Cho'Gath, for example, I've seen this before in Korea a lot, where they really love this GLP build. We have mentioned that before anyway, but the general idea is that you sustain through your passive anyway to block the poke, so it doesn't really matter. And then you slow into a guaranteed knock up after. Cho'Gath does way more damage than anybody really expects from this. You can also dip into a more tanky build if you feel like you need to, rather than going full AP. You've got really good kill pressure in the lane phase. It's a lot of crowd control combined with the support as well, especially, and then really annoying to play against. Like, you're tanky anyway with a lot of slows and disruption backed up by more damage. Brand is the other one that wasn't used very often, but absolutely destroyed when it was, and I can see it having pretty good potential, but it could get punished a little bit more because he is super immobile. He's got insane base damage, and the scalings aren't that bad either. So you do seriously good damage in lane and afterwards with a few items, but that's mostly if you proc your passive. Like, you can get a lot of kills. He does also go Glacial. He's got real hard on for it, obviously, but it does make hitting everything way easier. You could also probably go Comet or Dark Harvest, and I think that would definitely work. This one is really about getting kills in lane, like, as much as you can. You want to poke, you want to push if you can get away with it. Really abuse that oppressive phase you have early with insane base damage, and then have a pretty good, like, brutal team fight. But it's more about that pressure to fight early. Now, last up is just a quick mention from me as well. This is one that I've seen used a few times, and that is Casio bot lane. Basically an AD carry, but using a spell, her E, instead of autos. Your poison is like decent harassing lane phase, or your Q, and you have really good gank set up with Miasma as well, so you can definitely fight, especially with a strong support. Like, there's no way they can flash away, so if they get caught, they're completely dead. She does scale ridiculously well, so you can match an AD carry later. You'll output constant damage in a similar way, so you don't have to worry about that either, and you won't get a massive mismatch, and you're actually pretty good as well at taking Barons. I feel like Casio has this insane core. Like, once you get these 3 items, your Archangels, your Rylai's, your Liandry's, you're going to be super strong, and nobody can really go against you. As I said, it's not just damage. You have good setup with your ultimate. You have your Miasma grounding as well. Rylai's slow later, but realistically, you are picking her because she'll melt through champions later, and she gets a support to babysit her early. So those are going to be basically all the mages you can play right now. If there are any others, please let me know. I know Yasuo isn't really a mage, so he's not in this video, but there are others that are kind of off meta that will be good bot lane. Thank you for watching until the very end. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think, but for now, I will leave you with robots.